Hello viewers, in this part of our program of soil formation, soil forming rocks and minerals, I would tell you about the processes of soil formation and the soil forming rocks and soil minerals. Soil is considered as the uppermost part of the earth crust. It is considered as a natural body developed by natural forces acting upon natural parent material. The soil is developed by the disintegration of rocks and minerals. It supplies water and plant nutrients to the crops and support the plants. There are so many soil forming factors acting upon the parent material gives rise to different kinds of soils in different regions. So let us start with some important definitions of soils given by renowned soil scientists. The first definition given by Joffe and Marbot is that soil is a natural body developed by natural forces acting on natural materials. It is usually differentiated into horizons from mineral and organic constituents of variable depth which differ from the parent material below in morphology, physical properties and constituents, chemical properties and composition and biological characteristics. The another definition given by Buckman and Brady says that soil may be defined as a dynamic natural body on the surface of the earth in which plants grow composed of mineral and organic materials and living forms. There are two basic concepts to study the soil. First is pedology and the another one is edaphology. Pedology includes the study of origin of the soil, its classification and its description. The science of pedology emphasizes the study of soil as a natural phenomena on the surface of the earth. The edaphology covers the study of soil in relation to growth, nutrition and yield of crops. So there are two broad branches of soil studying, that is pedology and edaphology. Pedology means classification of soil and the edaphology means relation of soil to the crop productivity. Now comes to composition of earth. The earth is composed of three spheres. The first is atmosphere, about 0.03% by weight of earth and extends from 45 to 200 miles. It is a mixture of large number of gases. Dominant ones are nitrogen and oxygen. The second sphere is hydrosphere. This sphere refers to oceans which covers nearly 3/4 of the earth's surface and contribute approximately 6.9% by weight of earth. The third sphere is lithosphere. It is the outer surface or land, the crust and the interior or nucleus forms the lithosphere. Under soil components, there are four parts of soil. About half of the soil volume is solid particles and out of this half volume, mineral matter is 45% and organic matter is 5%. The rest half of the soil volume is pore space and 25% of pore space is occupied by soil air and remaining 25% of soil pore space is occupied by soil water. Now comes to the components of soil. Soil consists of four major components. First is mineral matter. Mineral matter forms the bulk of soil solids. It is generally composed of very fine broken rock fragments and minerals either dominated by inorganic constituents or by distinct minerals like quartz and feldspars. The second one is organic matter. It is very small amount of soil solid occupied by organic matter. The third is water and the fourth is air. So all these four components, mineral matter, organic matter, water and air makes a soil. Now there are several factors of soil formation. The 5 soil forming factors are parent material, topography, climate, biological activity and time. Out of these 5 soil forming factors, 2 are active soil forming factors, whereas remaining 3 are considered as passive soil forming factors. The active soil forming factors are climate and biological activity in the soil. The passive soil forming factors are parent material, topography and time. This picture shows the formation of soil. As the organic matter increases in the soil, the plant start growing and the horizons start developing. In first part of this picture, there is disintegration of rocks, and in the last part of this picture, there is a horizon development, means A horizon, that is alluvial horizon, and B horizon, that is subsurface alluvial horizon, have been developed in the soil. This is the soil profile. Soil profile is a vertical section of the soil through all its horizons and extending into the parent material. This soil profile has several soil horizons like A horizon, E horizon, B horizon and C horizon. A horizon is a mineral matter horizon. It's a zone of elevation. E horizon is a zone of elevation, means maximum elevation is from E horizon. It is light colored mineral particles. The B horizon is a subsurface horizon. It's a zone of accumulation, means it's a zone of elevation. The C horizon is the regolith. Here the disintegrated rock materials are there. Now what are these horizons? When a vertical section of a soil in the field shows the presence of more or less distinct horizontal layers, these layers are known as soil horizons. Soil is the horizons above the parent material, means A and B horizon, collectively known as the soil soil. Then regolith, it is the disintegrated and decomposed mass of weathered rock and soil material on the earth's surface in which the soil develops. So all these soil, regolith and horizons makes a soil profile. Now these are some important pedogenic processes of soil formation. First is elevation. Elevation is the process of removal of soil materials. It means it's a washing out of soil materials from a horizon in solution or in suspension by the percolating water. The next one is elevation. It is a process of accumulation in the alluvial horizon, means in the zone of accumulation where material carried from an overlying layer and precipitated from solution or deposited from suspension. The third one is humification, is a process involving decomposition of organic matter leading to the formation of humus. The next one is laterization. It's a removal of silica and accumulation of sesqui oxides leading to the formation of iron stone, concretion and laterite soils. Next one, pedogenic soil forming process is the podzolization. It's a removal of iron, aluminium with humus from upper part and deposition at some depth leading to the podzol soils. So these five are the pedogenic soil forming processes: elevation, humification, laterization and podzolization. This gives different kinds of soils in different parts of the world due to acting of these forces on the different parent material. Now comes to the rocks. Rocks are formed by one of these three different processes. It means there are three kinds of rocks found in the earth crust. First is igneous. The igneous rocks formed by cooling and solidification of molten magma. The example of igneous rocks is granite. The second one is sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks formed by gradual deposition of weathered igneous rocks. The examples are limestone and shale. The third one is metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks formed by geological alteration of igneous and sedimentary rocks by pressure and temperature. The example of metamorphic rocks is marble. So what are rocks? Rocks are usually made up of several different minerals, but they sometimes consist largely of only one mineral. Based on mode of origin or formation, rocks are divided into three natural groups. First is igneous rocks, formed from solidification of molten material on cooling. They are about 95% of the Earth's solid crust, and approximately 88% of the mass of these rocks consists of feldspars, free quartz, and the amphibial pyroxene, that is ferromagnesian group of minerals. Now, classification of igneous rocks. Depending on the percentage of above mentioned four minerals, they could be divided into three types. The first is granite. Granite consisting mainly of quartz and feldspars and a small percentage of micas, amphiboles and iron oxides. They are light in color and coarse to medium grained in texture. Second is diorite. Diorite consisting of much of feldspars and amphiboles and less of quartz. They are grey to dark in color and has coarse or medium grained texture. The next one is basalt. This group has no quartz and consists of mainly feldspars. The color is dark to black and texture is dense or fine grained. So these are the type of igneous rocks found in the soil. The next one is metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks formed from pre-existing rocks through action of heat and pressure. The common examples of change or metamorphosis of rocks are gneiss, schist, quartzite, slate, marble, etc. Types of metamorphic rocks commonly divided into two classes. First is foliated and the second one is non-foliated metamorphic rocks. The first metamorphic rocks is gneiss, formed from granite rock, altering light and dark colors and foliated structure. The second is schist. It formed from basalt, that is igneous rock. The color is much as original rock and it is foliated structure. The next one is quartzite. It formed from sandstone, that is sedimentary rock. The color is light to brown and the structure is non-foliated. The next is slate. It formed from shell, that is sedimentary rock. The color is grey to black and the structure is foliated. The next one is marble, formed from limestone, that is sedimentary rock. The color is light to red to green to black color. It means there are so many colors of marbles are there and the structure is non-foliated. So these are some important metamorphic rocks and the marble is the famous example of these metamorphic rocks. Next is sedimentary rocks. As soon as igneous rocks are exposed to weathering processes, they start breaking down physically and chemically into soluble and insoluble products. These products, when transported by water, wind or glaciers, form new deposits which in time become cemented and solidified into new forms of rocks called the sedimentary rocks. Formed from sediments under pressure, although they form only 5% of the Earth's crust, they are the source of important products used in agriculture and industry. Some examples of sedimentary rocks are sandstone, shale and limestone. Sandstone mainly quartz with some amounts of calcium carbonate, iron oxides and clays. The color is light to red, usually granular and porous structure. Shales mainly clay minerals, quartz and some organic matter. The color is light to dark and thinly laminated structure. The next one is limestone. Limestone is mainly calcite or calcite and dolomite with some iron oxides, clay, phosphates and organic matter, usually light to grey to yellow color and fine grained and compact structure. So sandstone and limestone are the very common example of sedimentary rocks. Now comes to weathering of rocks. Weathering may be defined as physical disintegration and chemical decomposition of minerals and rocks which takes place naturally at or near the surface of the earth. Now weathering processes. There are three weathering processes. First is physical, then chemical and biological processes. In physical processes, the expansion and abrasion of rocks comes, whereas in chemical processes, the solubilization process, the hydration process, the oxidation process and the reduction of mineral is the main processes of chemical processes of weathering of rocks. The last one is the biological processes. The biological process includes the role of soil microbes and the plant roots to break down the rocks in the soil. Now, rock forming minerals. A mineral is a natural inorganic substance whose chemical composition is either definite or varies only within prescribed limits and which has more or less definite physical properties such as crystal form, cleavage, hardness, color, streak, specific gravity, etc. When the solid rock crust of the earth was originally formed by the cooling of molten material, the elements, because of their mutual attraction for one another, combined to form crystalline chemical compounds which are called minerals. These are the pictures of some minerals in the soil. Now, formation of minerals means how minerals are formed in the soil. When the bases and acids in water solution come into contact, they usually react with each other to form salts. Most of the minerals and many of our industrial products, including fertilizers, exist in this form. When silica oxide react with water molecules, the polysilicic acid is formed. When this polysilicic acid react with aluminium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide, the polysilicate formed, called orthosilicate feldspars. Now, identification of minerals. Minerals have more or less definite physical characteristics by means of which they can often be identified right in the field and always in the laboratory. These physical characteristics are crystal form, cleavage, hardness, color, and specific gravity. Hardness is one of the most fundamental tests used to identify the minerals, even in the field. Hardness is referred to by numbers from 1 to 10. So, soil is a very precious source on this earth. It is formed due to disintegration and decomposition of rocks. So, we all must do efforts to save the soil for our future generations.